Yeah. Yeah. They not quite on my level. I got rocks in my bezel.
What's the word? What's the word? You tuning in to Outside Raps here with Dizzy D Spill. And you know I gotta bring you some more content, some more things to start a conversation. I felt like this was very important to talk about. But before I get started, I definitely want to shout out Lavore Cole, hat, shirt. You already know. Go check that out. www.lavorecole.com. A lot of dope pieces, a lot of dope clothes, something different, basically luxury comfort. So go check that out. See if you like something over there. Now, before we get in, well, I shouldn't even say before we get into it, because we just gonna dive right into it. I know something that's been trending online right now, but I want to talk to the women really quick. And what I wanted to say to the ladies is I understand that there is a movement with women. There are things that need to be addressed. Women feel like they're being treated a certain type of way, and they're done with a lot of old ways of men and society standards and all these different movements and awareness. That's all fine. Most of that is none of our business anyway as men. However, I do have some advice for you ladies. Be careful how quick, I shouldn't say be careful how quick. Be careful with jumping to somebody's defense so quick. And be careful doing that without having enough information to convince you. A lot of times when I see posts on social media with women, I see it being an issue of things that have happened, and I could tell that the issue is more about what they've dealt with in the past, trauma or hurt. And so when something triggers that in social media or in the news, it's automatically, oh, men are this, and look at these men, and blah, 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 blah. And the reason why I wanted to start out by saying that is because I do understand that everybody has an opinion. And a lot of times we weren't there or not there for certain circumstances. But I just want to share some examples of why I say be careful what you stand behind and what you support, and be careful about what you're asking, and be specific. Really think about what you're asking. The first thing I wanted to cover is this scenario with this woman getting hit by a brick. For starters, I don't believe anybody should be getting hit by a brick, even in a street fight. That is wild to me. It's dangerous. It's reckless. It could even be considered attempted murder to a certain degree. So I would recommend, if you're going to get in an altercation with somebody, hopefully it's self-defense, but using weapon, anytime you use something as a weapon, it's turned into something totally different. So I do not condone violence, but I don't condone any type of use of a weapon like that because you have a disagreement. If you got to protect yourself, by all means, sometimes you got to do things that you didn't think you needed to do. But that right there was crazy. That woman's face did look out of control. However, I wanted to share the clip really quick with what happened. And the crazy thing about it, let's just go into the clip really quick and see what's going on here. Here we go.
Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just watch, and they don't give a.
What the brick is?
Yeah, this man hit me, fucking grabbed a rock, and it hit me in my fucking face because I would have given him my number.
What part of brick
and
is?
all y'all just fucking watch.
What you
y'all
want
see that shit?
What you
Y'all see that shit?
What you want to do?
What y'all gonna do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man and fucking do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face? Man, all y'all niggas. Have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, what you gonna do? And I told all these men, like, yo, why this man got a brick on my face? And he's holding a brick, and all these niggas is watching. and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watch. And they let that nigga get in a car. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women?
So basically the woman got hit with a brick. It was crazy. It was unfortunate. Her face was definitely swollen. It was wild. Now, of course, I went to the comment section and on the page that I seen it on, and I started reading comments because to me it doesn't get no more authentic than people weighing in on a scenario at regular people, regular 9-to-5 people or whatever, weighing in on the conversation. One person said, "Call the police. No man who doesn't even know you should risk his life to protect nobody but his family. Secondly, look how you're talking to the men in the video, being disrespectful, insulting that they're not real men. Girl, bye." That was from a woman. That actually surprised me. But I did want to speak on this really quick. When you women get out there and you say a man is supposed to intervene and things of that nature, I just want to know really quick, for some of you women that are old enough to where you have children in high school, you have a son in high school that's maybe, I don't know, between the ages of 14 and maybe 17, right? So would you want your 17-year-old son to risk his life or get in between protecting a young lady or a woman and that person that is possibly in a quarrel or a fight with her has a weapon? Would you want your son to risk his life? That's my question to the women. My other question to the women as well is, would you want your husband to intervene? If you and your husband are out having date night, or you and your husband and your kids are out having a time, eating ice cream, whatever, and you see an altercation like that happen, would you want your husband to spring into action and risk himself for that woman with that altercation? And if you don't want that for your son or your husband or your brother, the men that you hold dear to yourself, what do you think people should do in that scenario? Just something to ask. That's a real question. I'm not trying to make something out of nothing crazy. That's just a real question. I always wanted to know that when these things happen, because a lot of women are strong in their stance on that, on a man intervening situations. And then real quick, I also want to know, women, would you intervene if you seen a man trying to avoid physical contact from a fight or something, trying to avoid that from a woman? Would you as a woman jump in and get that woman out of his face? Or do you feel like a man can protect himself even though we're not supposed to lay any fingers on y'all, right? So would you guys spring into action if you seen a woman hitting on a man? I'm just curious. These are questions. These are real questions. Just real questions. A real conversation. I'm curious. I'm really curious. So the next one, somebody said, "Nah, this bleep is bogus as hell, for real." It was, getting hit with a brick or any kind of weapon, hitting a woman, and you're a man with a weapon. That is crazy. It is bogus. I agree with that. Another comment was, "Exactly. Why would you give the number then?" Wait, she said, "Exactly. Why you give the number then block at the end of the night?" I think I read this wrong. Exactly why you give the number and block it at the end of the night. That's what she was saying. I feel for women. I've heard this before. I've even heard my wife talk like this, where they're afraid to reject a guy. I think that is a sick thing. I think it's very sick that women have to give fake numbers. I've never really been aggressive with approaching women like that. I kind of try to find a vibe. In the past, when I was trying to talk to a lady or something, I would try to find some kind of sign to know it was good to at least start a conversation and hopefully get the number. I'm actually shocked that people are still asking for numbers these days because of social media. Most people are saying, "What's your Snap or your IG or I guess TikTok, whatever's hot." So I think it is bogus, and I think it is crazy that women are really afraid to tell men no because of how crazy some of these men are. I do feel that way. I'll tell you like this. My daughter come home and tell me some stuff, and I can find the dude. Yeah, it's on and cracking. And I'm gonna bring everybody that care about my daughter too. So I'm just giving a warning years in advance. My daughter come home with that, man, I promise you it'll be the worst pain you ever felt. So I do feel for the women when it comes to that. I think women should be able to say no. You know, very delicate. No, not interested. Have a man or whatever. And no, if she's letting you know she's not interested, or if you feel like she's lying to you, the point is, bruh, she's not interested. So just keep that in mind. If she's not playing ball with you, that means leave the gym. She don't want to shoot with you. More of the comments though. Another one said, men at shit, period. I think she meant to say men ain't, so she didn't do any editing. Another comment says, remember the many stories of black guys shoot at women because she wouldn't give him her number? I have heard crazy stories in the past coming up, but I also believe it has a lot to do with the certain environment that these women are in. I haven't seen too many stories where it's in a civilized area. It's usually in a very hood ghetto area where that's happened. And I do know that women's lives have been threatened, but I do want to make it clear. I think there's a certain type of men that these women are referring to. So that's why I get so triggered at times when I hear women say men. That's not me. That's not my partners. That's not my cousins. That's not my brothers, my uncles. And all of us are men. So I just wish sometimes when women spoke on this stuff, they say specific type of men instead of just saying men, because that's really grouping all of us. And then when you narrow it down and say black men, now it's just all the black men. So that needs work. But I have heard the scenarios like that. And I'm gonna be honest. I think it's hood dudes. I think it's hood dudes that do this stuff. Most of them, most scenarios, it be in the hood or an environment where a whole bunch of hood dudes is there. So, yeah, that's my take on that comment. Another comment said, what in the heck is wrong with black men now? The decline in our men is absurd. So sorry for her. Again, I already spoke my piece on saying black men. What a lot of people don't want to talk about in the statistics is a lot of black fathers are in the home these days compared to a lot of generations before them. We actually are doing better in numbers, but we continue to spin this narrative about black men. Nobody wants to talk about the positives. Again, it's a certain group, just like in any other culture. It's a certain group. Let's get into this joint right here. Let me see if I can find. I'm not gonna lie. I just give them my number. I just give them one of my numbers. If they call, I block them. I just can't go through losing my life or getting hurt because some MF who can't accept rejection. Again, I think that's awful. I'm sorry that you got to go through that, sister. That's awful. I do know that there's a lot of scenarios. Now, some of these comments I'm really feeling for it, but I have seen scenarios where guys have approached women respectfully and they get the decline. But the way that they decline them is extremely disrespectful, laughing or this, that, and the other, or just completely being rude. So it's a very delicate space to be in with approaching a woman and then approaching the wrong woman or the wrong time or whatever. It's really weird these days. I could keep going on. There's plenty of comments, but I definitely wanted to share some information because in the post, there was a ton of women that felt the way. There's a ton of women that was going in on black men. And I wanted to share this woman that got hit with this brick, just a little bit about what I've seen. One of the things that I've seen is, she's a reports page where she talks about different things and has different opinions about things. One of the things was referring to women in general. And this is why I say you need to be careful who you stand behind and get all the facts and get all the details. So this is what she had to say when it came to women and the protected community that we all are familiar with. So she says
that trans women want to be you. It's just, it's actually quite funny. Like, yeah, I want to be a biological woman. No, they don't. I've never heard a trans woman say that she wants to be a biological woman. Ever. Trans women have been saying the same thing since the beginning of the time. They want the right to exist safely. They've never said they wanted to be biological women. They obviously don't want to be a man. They just want to be a trans woman because there's more than two genders. Get into that, honey. So I don't think that Just Hilarious is somebody who wants to actually cause harm or pain. I think that she is in pain, and yes, there's no excuse for causing pain because you're in pain. But I also think there's like a huge lack of information. And hopefully with some information and we gently give that to her, that she can right that wrong. And she could start by writing a check to the trans community. Excuse me, thank you.
So I think this was important to bring up because she has this perspective with really strong opinions about the conflict between women and the other community. And I don't feel like saying all the letters, so I'm not saying all the letters, but y'all know the community I'm talking about. And she's very contradicting in things like this was about the Just Hilarious comments that were being made as far as the other community and being a woman. And I'm not going to dive into that. Maybe I'll do that later on if it correlates to something else. But she was referring to, you know, they're not trying to be you and this, that, and the other, and kind of giving the illusion that women are threatened. Black women have a tendency to be threatened, and that, you know, women are just hurt because they're trying to be them. I don't really know if it was in this clip, but it's in this same conversation because she did a series of clips where she was saying that women are jealous of that community because they get their eyelashes together, they get their makeup together, they do things better than them. And I thought that was a little extreme. And it's interesting because she kind of plays along with the boundaries between that culture and women. But then here we are hearing her play with the boundaries also with men and how they are with women. This other controversial clip that I wanted to play. And again, this isn't me dragging her. This is just me explaining to you guys, be careful what you're supporting because you don't know if they're supporting you back. And I know that there's this movement with women supporting each other is huge. You might want to be careful. You just might want to be careful because everybody may not be on the same page as you. But I thought this was interesting to say prior to her experience with the whole brick situation. Let's see what we got here.
Happy Pride. I hope every black woman is kissing another black woman because we are the innate protectors and the providers. We protect societies, we protect communities with our intellectual property, with our lived experiences, with our breast milk, with our bodies. We're the ones. And the two. Not even the three. Because men are not providers and protectors, not innately, because they only protect what they possess. But we protect everybody and we provide, baby, okay? So I hope you catch a girl tonight because I hope I do. And don't forget, before there was feminism, it was lesbians who were living those lives without worried about like they were not worried about niggas. They were decensoring men. So before there was feminism, there were lesbians. Hey, excuse me, thank you.
So what you got to understand, women, and some of you women that might be listening to this have to realize something that maybe doesn't click initially. Some of you have sons. When you hear women talking like this and they say men and this, that, and the other, your son is not exempt from that conversation. This type of misandry, because that's what it's called, the hatred for men, that does not exclude the men that you love and care about. You may have a tendency to say, well, not you guys, I'm just talking in general, but the people that don't know the people that you love, they're not excluding the people that you care about. This is why it's important to put a label. We put a label on everything else. Why are we not putting a label on things that are really bad instead of generalizing it? I don't understand. We take the time to do that for everything else, but the things that are really bad, we just generalize it as a whole, right? So I wanted to speak on that, and I wanted to share that with you women, because if you have that scenario where she's saying that women are the protectors and providers and all of this other stuff, then why wasn't she cussing women out for not jumping in about this getting hit with the brick situation? If it's really that true in society right now, then why are so many women angry with men for the things that they're not doing? This is what I'm saying. It's all mixed up. It's everywhere. Now, there's a video of a guy, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to share it or not, but there's a video of a guy that was actually there. And I think I should just go ahead and share it. And he says what happened, and apparently he knows her background or her story, or I don't know if he personally knows her as a friend, but he's very familiar with this woman. And this was his take on the situation.
How do you know I'm telling the truth? How do you know she was telling the truth? The moment she posted her video, every black woman started vilifying the black men. Everybody was posting it on every social media platform, talking down the black men, how the black men did not protect her. But nobody ever questioned her whatsoever. The same energy you had when you were defending her, when you were out there advocating for her without asking any questions. How come you didn't ask? Where's the proof? Where's the brick that he hit you with? Where's the police report? Why are you recording instead of calling the police? Instead of asking those questions, the moment she posted that video, women automatically believed her. But now I post a video telling my truth, telling what I saw, and people are like, where's your proof? What do you want me to go back to the scene of the crime and pick up the brick and show you, oh, this is the brick that hit her right across her face? Is that what you want? Like, I'm going to use your comment to also address other people. People are calling me a coward. That's okay. You can call me all you want. All I know is I'm alive. I got my health with me right now. I got to go home to my daughter that night. You know what I'm saying? I got to go home to my daughter, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
And he goes on. So, I mean, he says some things that, a lot of us do think about. I know there's been scenarios where I personally know a scenario. We were a lot younger when this happened, where two of my homies was at a party and something happened between her dude, this woman's dude. Apparently this woman's dude, something happened with this woman and a dude, and they went over there to check the situation, to assess the situation, check the situation, basically jumping something that didn't concern them. Before you know it, these two of the homies were in a fight. They got in that fight. They didn't leave victorious, and the women that they were protecting, or the woman that they were trying to defend, the woman that they were trying to defend was also putting hands on them. I know a lot of different scenarios like that. I read a comment in this post where a guy said, nope, I'm not doing none of that. I remember one time I got in a scenario where I seen two women and a guy, and it was a girl and her friend, and the girl was getting into it with her boyfriend. He was putting hands on her. I went over there, tried to stop it, ended up getting the best of him and beating him up. And then when the police came, I got arrested, and they defended him in the story to the police. You guys got to understand the risk that we would have to take, and the risk that some men did take where it didn't pan out well. We don't know the stories, and I'm pretty sure they're out there. We don't know the stories where men have tried to step in and they lost their lives. But I'm pretty sure there's at least 5 minimum out there in history. Okay? I have a cousin with a scenario like that where he was defending a woman that he was dealing with. Somebody came all the way down from Bakersfield to Sacramento and stabbed my cousin up. He made it. He pulled through. I pulled up on him at the hospital, but that was defending a woman. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy to hear like, well, you should do this, on top of us being called broke and dusty and everything else. Oh, we're also supposed to lay our lives down. Listen, I have children of my own who I love dearly, and I just don't know if I could accept a thank you from somebody's parents because my child risked their life so they can go on and mine doesn't. So I think that, I'm not saying that nobody shouldn't defend anyone. I just don't think that we should be so comfortable with having that as an expectation and some form of entitlement. That's all I'm saying. And even though this is the bulk of the conversation, women, I'm telling you, you really need to be careful who you stand behind. I don't really watch Love and Hip Hop, but this whole thing with Erica Mena calling a black woman a monkey, I remember seeing things on social media not that long ago when they was dragging Safari because of what they put her through. She lost all this weight and she was just out here looking bad and it's all his fault. And then she turned around and there was a lot of sisters defending her. And then she turned around and called you monkeys. Be careful who you are offending. Just because they are like you or they're from the same kind as you, they're the same sex as you, or whatever the case is, don't be so quick to jump in it because you don't know all the details. Because now they turn around, you help them out, they turn around and they get at you stupid. They do you dirty. I'm pretty sure most of us have been in a scenario where we defended somebody and then that person that we defended gangs up on you with the person that was hurting them. Now you're the opposition. Be careful, man. Y'all have to be careful. I remember Amber Rose was doing the whole thing with the slut walk and everything, and a lot of women got behind her, and then she don't really identify as black. I remember a lot of women like Doja Cat, and then they got mad when she wasn't really identifying as black. I'm just saying, sisters, okay? You don't even have to like me. I don't care. I have enough people in my life that like me and that love me. But just listen to what I'm saying to you, okay? Be careful who you stand behind. If you continue to stand behind people just because they're a woman and they're the opposite of a man, obviously, and you think that they mean well and then they burn you and then you try to act like you would. No, I'm telling you. Be careful who you stand behind because people be showing you who they are and there's a receipt somewhere. There's somebody who got your comment from back when you were supporting them to when you're not supporting them now, or your post or your video or whatever. All I'm saying is be careful. With this woman right here that went through this scenario with the brick, I think that is awful. Another thing, I heard she had this prank, I guess, where she goes around slapping a whole bunch of white men because of what they did to, I guess, black women in history. I just thought that's not even funny. I love pranks. I love watching pranks. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a jokester and I'm always down for a good laugh. But even her content, because I've checked out her page, even her content is real wild. It's real left. It's all over the place. It's some contradictory there too. But I don't condone in hitting a woman with a weapon unless your life is being threatened and she has the upper hand, okay? I don't condone that. And you hitting a woman because she doesn't give you her number, that's crazy. Men, if you're out there doing that, if you're out there getting mad, that's some sucker shit. If you're out there hitting women or you out there harassing women because they showed you what it is, they showed you they're not really rocking with you, that is sucker shit, bruh. That's sucker shit. A woman that doesn't know you, women that know you don't owe you shit for the most part, but a woman that doesn't know you definitely don't owe you nothing. So you having an expectation to get her number because of your status, your money, or because you in front of your homeboys and you don't want to look stupid, man up, all right? You can't have them all right? But on top of this, I didn't like the narrative that she spent. All these black men are standing here doing nothing and they should be protecting me blindly. But I also see how she clearly showed how she felt about black men, going in on all those black men. But then you have these conversations where you're talking about you're the protector and everything else as if black men don't need any existence. And then you have you cherry pick. You want to lift sisters up, and then you want to talk up to Just Hilarious about women and womanhood. And I'm not even gonna go down that. I'll let y'all women handle that or whatever, unless I get invited for a conversation. I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole. But I do want to speak on that. But I also got those questions. I asked questions at the beginning of this recording. Please let me know how you will feel about your son, your husband, your man, your fiance, whoever you care about, putting on the red cape with the S on the chest and getting himself involved in other women's conflicts in public or wherever. Do you approve of that? Do you think that should happen? Would you encourage your man or your son to do those things? Because if you wouldn't, then you shouldn't speak on any man not coming to this woman's aid. And if you would, I'm curious on why. And would you do it? Would you do the things that you expect other people to do? That's a conversation I want to have with a lot of women, but I don't have time to do it today. Anyways, you've been tuning in to Outside Raps. It's me, Dizzy D Spill. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know what you think should have happened. Turn that notification on at the bell. And like I said, subscribe. Until next time, peace.
Living good, eating good. All my family finna lead the hood. If I want it.